Hello everyone, I'm Richard from Burning Spears. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you find this video useful. It's a little bit slightly unusual today, even though it involves making bacon. Today I'm going to be making a collar bacon. So used to be very common, not so common anymore, but it's a really good bacon, apart from the normal back bacon or streaky bacon. The collar used to also be very common for Christmas roasts, but sadly not too much anymore. Great cut to use. I've got a nice big piece today, and let's get into the nuts and bolts of it. I use a dry brine calculator, and the way I'm cooking this today or preparing this today is dry brining. So it's not submersed in liquid. And we have a beautiful piece of meat to sort this out on. So it's about 5.1 kilograms, which is 11.2 pounds in weight. And using the dry brine calculator, I use a localfoodheroes.com one. It's asking me for 113 grams of salt, 51 grams of sugar, and 16.3 grams of Prague salts, #1 curing salt, pink salt, #1. Don't use #2 for bacon. That's for a whole different process, more for your salamis and stuff like that. So use the #1 and your bacon will be #1. Okay, so I've mixed all of that up. The sugar's a little bit clumpy still, but you don't need to really worry. Now, generally a pork collar that you get from your butcher, which is part of the pork butt. So this is almost a whole pork butt, deboned, but part of the shoulder. So generally your pork collar will be the eye that they will give you. But for this, I'll ask for the whole thing. The bone has come out of here. So one of the things is this is a very big thick piece of meat. So the dry brine, you want to be sure that the dry brine is going to penetrate and is going to be effective on such a big thick chunk of meat. So I'll be showing you a couple of tricks to look after that part about it. I like the dry brining method because I don't have space for a big bucket in my fridge. And it gives great results. It really does. So what you really want to do is to get initially to get salt, your salt, sugar and curing salt mix around the meat. That's generally the whole point, which is really easy in a bag. I use a 2-gallon bag, a Ziploc bag like this, and I put it in there, put it in the fridge, turn it over once a day so that the juices that do draw out move around, and you mixing all of the salinity and sugar and all of that around for great results. So the only thing I'd normally with belly, I just pop it in the bag and then I chuck this in there. Today I'm going to just make sure, because of the thickness of the meat, that I get it in all of the open parts, so that I'm sure that the curing salt and this curing mix will get in where it needs to, so that the meat doesn't spoil and can cure properly. So that's really that part done, and this is just going to fit. I haven't done a pork collar like this before. Once it's in the fridge, it will move around and get all slippy again. Just a little bit difficult to pop it in because the fat's sticky. So you don't have to be too specific. Then you want to take out as much air as you can. So there we go. That goes into the fridge for 7 days, getting turned once a day. All of this will dissipate and then we will smoke it. So you will see this 7 days later. I've just written on it just for the sake of trying to look organized, and you could date it. I will generally only make one batch at once, so I don't need to date them. But if you're doing a few, get them done that way. Probably a cheaper option than pork belly, and delicious. I can't wait to see how this turns out and show it off to you guys. Well, everyone, I'm really happy. 8 days later, I can smoke my pork collar bacon and I can show off my new shirt. Fancy, eh? So, I am going to smoke this at 100 degrees centigrade, which is about 210 Fahrenheit. And I'm going to smoke it till an internal temperature of around about 70 degrees Celsius. And I'm using apple wood as the smoke flavor. So I've been turning this every day in the fridge. Now it's time to wash it off really well, pat it dry, and get it in. Let me show you what this looks like after its little bath. Okay, so as you can see, little piggy's out to play. Washed it off. You can see how the meats change color. There, that looks like your classic bacon look. So I'm glad and I'm confident that the cure time was long enough. On pork belly, 7 days is all it needs. But with such a thick collar, I was a little bit concerned. Something I'm going to do, which I don't always do, is I'm going to put a lot of black pepper on the fat. A lot of people flavor their brine. I haven't experimented with that too much yet, but any additional flavor is good. The bacon because I'm cooking the bacon, smoking the bacon to 75 degrees centigrade, it's going to come out like American style bacon. Now, for those Americans who might be wondering what I mean, in England and Europe, bacon is cold smoked, so it appears raw like this. It's sliced, it's cured, safe to eat. I eat raw bacon. It's safe to eat. But it's cold smoked, so it doesn't look light pink. We would call it a ham, what you call bacon. I don't know if that makes sense, but our bacon is raw, yours is cooked. The outcome once it's fried is the same. Okay, so we're sitting at 100 degrees centigrade, 210 Fahrenheit, indirect. And I've got my pan underneath to protect my heat deflectors from getting grease and oil on them. This little puppy is going to sit pretty for quite a few hours. Okay, so then just a little talk about temperature and smoking. So on a Kamado Joe, they are very economical. They're very low airflow. So the air vents are open to a very small degree as opposed to other types of grills. So those other types of grills and the offset grills and that, they pull through a lot of air movement, which means a lot of smoke moves across, which means a lot of moisture is stripped as well. So on offset smokers, they use water baths. Kamado Joe, you don't need to use a water bath. The downside with less airflow on there is less smoke. Now for me that's not generally a problem because I like a lighter smoke. I don't like over smoked foods. So it's not really a problem to me. But when you're doing something like bacon at a very low temperature, there's even less airflow than what there normally would be. And yes, it's purring nicely. There's a good deal of smoke coming out now. But that's because I used about 5 or 6 fist-sized pieces of apple, whereas for a normal smoke I'd use 2 or 3. So increasing the smoking wood in there to increase the smoke, because the bacon needs to get a lot of smoke in the little amount of time that it's in there for, because it's not getting pushed to those traditionally smoked temperatures of of 95 Celsius, 203 degrees Fahrenheit. So you want to have more smoke while you're smoking in the Kamado Joe. So that's why it's ladled with smoke like this, so that I can get that smoke flavor into the bacon. On an offset smoker, you don't need to worry, because there's a lot of smoke that goes past it. So that's my tip when using these, and I can't wait to take it out and slice it. Okay, so it has been about 2.5 hours and the light is fading, and I haven't figured out how to film at night under my fancy LED lights yet, so I'm not going to be able to show you me taking this out at temp. But basically at the moment we're at 39 degrees Celsius. I need it to be 70-75. So it's been 2.5 hours, so I think it's going to be another 2 hours, such a big piece like this, before I can pull it out. So the next thing you will see is what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out, I'm going to wrap it and put it in the fridge overnight. Then tomorrow evening I'll slice it when I get back from work to show you guys all this goodness. Fingers crossed, I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so it's a couple of days later. I didn't get to this the day after like I said I would. Life happened, work happened, but anyway, here we are. I've had it wrapped really tightly in cling film so it solidifies, and there's all this lovely bacon jelly around it. I'm going to think of something to do with that. So the thing that's great about making, one of the things that's great about making your own bacon is when you trim it up and all of that, you get a lot of the edges that you don't get commercially, full of smoke, full of flavor. So those I like to save and chop up to make a pasta, where you really get a lot of smoke and you really get a lot of pop of the bacon. So what I'm going to do is I'll zoom in the camera, and then I'm going to go in and trim this up, ready for the slicer. Okay, so the other great thing about making your own bacon, etc., etc., is that you can cut it to how thick you want it. It's really nice, a bit thicker than what you buy in the shops. Let me tell you that much for free. So you'll see this in action. You can cut it with a knife. I'm just going to spare myself embarrassment of not cutting uniformly thick slices. So I bought this to make me look good. Okay, so I've cut it all up. I've got these gorgeous smoked ends that I'm going to use, chop up, like I say, in a pasta or something else. Gorgeous amounts of fat on this collar bacon. I do notice a couple of differences compared to the belly bacon. There's a couple of different runs of grain on the initial slices. But you can see that the grain's a bit different, whereas pork belly it's also uniform, but that won't matter. As you can see, nice thick slices. So I'm going to vacuum pack them and pop them in the freezer and keep some for fresh. And this is cooked. This is perfectly fine to eat like this. Man, that pork and that salt really is prominent with that hint of smoke on the back. It is really nice stuff. I'm happy to have tried this pork collar bacon. Gives you nice fat pieces, eh? And I mean that's good size. So I'm going to pack this, enjoy it, and I'll do normal belly bacon in my next bacon video. Right, so there we have it. Pork collar bacon. You don't see it every day. It's going to cook up really good. I hope you found this useful and interesting, and I hope those of you who maybe make your own bacon, try and make this one. I will put the link for the brine, the dry brine calculator that I use, down below. And I cannot wait for winter to come when I can start cold smoking my bacon and have some more traditional bacon as far as I'm used to. But like I say, just because it looks like ham doesn't mean it can't be bacon. It fries up really well, just like the bacon that we used to, certainly in Europe and South Africa. But yes, you'll probably see some recipes. I'll do some recipes with these ends. And yeah, thank you for watching, and hope to see you soon. That's it. So I couldn't wait, so I cooked some of this, because they say that bacon goes really well with sweet things, brandy and coke. That's the sweet. I love bacon. Yeah, piggy, piggy, piggy. Yeah, piggy, piggy.